been a week of no Lightning hockey, but we are back. This is your boy Chiefs Rays Bolts, and we are recapping the Islanders versus Lightning Eastern Conference Final Game 1. The first period has just ended, and the Lightning are already up 3-1. And just all game, to this point, we've been just outplaying the Islanders. So, really, I have no complaints. The way we've been playing is awesome so far. First period, 1 minute and 14 seconds in, Braden Point with a complete solo effort. Took it into the zone, got around the New York defenseman, and just got around Grease, the goalie, and it was sick. Braden Point, last night I stayed up and I watched a lot of the Lightning playoff highlights so far this season, or just our main games. I think I watched all the Boston highlights, some of the Columbus highlights. And what I noticed that I hadn't really taken into factor is just how electric, how amazing Braden Point has played this postseason so far. Braden Point is incredible. Without a doubt, the Lightning's best player this season has been Braden Point. He came to play in this game as, he opens up the scoring 1 minute 14 seconds into the game. 2 minutes 50 seconds into the game, Blake Coleman takes an interference call. The Islanders go on the power play. This call happened right off of face-off, and I thought in the playoffs, the refs are only supposed to call obvious penalties, because I thought that in the playoffs, the players are supposed to play and the refs are supposed to let them play, and it's supposed to be more laid back than they would be in the regular season. Call less penalties, only call the obvious stuff. No, not for this one. Blake Coleman barely touches a guy and gets called for it, and the Islanders end up getting a goal from it. It was Eberle from Andersley and Barzell. New York scores, and it's a 1-1 game. But 4 minutes later, Victor Hedman on a Lightning power play. Andy Green had a holding the stick against Nikita Kucherov, so Lightning went on the power play. The power play this postseason has been fucking awful. It wasn't looking that good on this power play, as New York somebody had a breakaway shorthanded shot on Vazzy, and it hit the post. So, that happened. But with a couple of seconds left in the power play, Victor Hedman takes a slapper from center ice. Absolute snipe to the left side of the net. This was all thanks to Alex Killorn screening Grease, the goalie. This goal was assisted by Point and Kucherov, and the Lightning, 8 minutes into the game, are up 2-1. 2.5 minutes later, Ryan McDonough would have a slap shot from the point, assisted by Kucherov and Sergachev, right into the corner, and this one was a snipe as well. Shots on goal right now are 10-6 Tampa. Lightning are 1 for 1 on the power play, and we've been looking really good. We've taken 3 penalties. So I talked about the first one, which was awful. A bad call. Should have let it slide. The second call the Lightning took was 15 minutes in, and it was a Nikita Kucherov hooking call. After he fell onto the ice, he somehow gets a hooking call after falling down. And that was a shitty call too. The refs have been making this game about themselves so far, and to the refs who do that, fuck you. Anyways, with less than 2 minutes left in the period, Mikhail Sergachev got a tripping call, and this was a legit call. It was an obvious call, so the refs actually made a good call. The Mikhail Sergachev tripping, that was a good call. The holding the stick against Andy Green was a good call, but the Blake Coleman interference and the Nikita Kucherov hooking, awful. Just should not be called in the playoffs. The playoffs are supposed to be about letting the team play. It's supposed to be about letting the team play the game, isn't it? It's ridiculous. I hate these refs that have to make these games about themselves. Everybody's turning on the TVs to watch the refs ref a game. No, nobody gives a damn about you. You sit back, you do nothing, you blow the whistle, and you call obvious penalties. Not this tinky-dink bullshit. I wouldn't mind it as much in the regular season, but because it's the playoffs, you're supposed to be letting the players play. That's why I'm mad. Hopefully the refs can take the tampons out of their asses and start being a little bit more laid back with it. So with that being said, I will see you at the end of the second period. How about that? 2 more Lightning goals in the second period, 0 New York goals. The Lightning are up 5-1 to go into the third period. This is incredible. The Lightning's defense is playing outstandingly. The Lightning offense hasn't skipped a beat. So, 8 minutes into the second period, Victor Hedman takes a high-sticking call. And guess what? The stick didn't even hit the fucking face of Jean-Gabriel Pageau. It didn't even hit his face, and the refs still called it, still sent Hedman to the box. Was it obvious? No, it wasn't. But you still sent him anyway. Why? Oh, wait, right, because the refs have to make the game about themselves. 8 penalties called between the two teams in the first 2 periods of this game. Is that not ridiculous? Because to me, that's ridiculous. Dave Mishkin was just talking about the Western Conference saying that the Western Conference Finals having issues with their refs. Well, guess what? I would happily trade the Eastern refs for the Western refs in a heartbeat because these guys are trash. They are calling such little things that aren't even obvious, things that they didn't even fully see with their own two eyes, like this high sticking that once they showed the replays, showed that it didn't even hit the face of Pagot. But we still get called for it. Why? Because the refs have to make the game about themselves. So, thank God the Islanders couldn't score on this. But yeah, whatever. 4 minutes into the second period, Yanni Gourde has a goal. Assisted by Maroon and Shattenkirk. This one was funny because it crossed the line by about an inch or two. And then it hit a New York stick and bounced right out. And nobody actually knew that it crossed the line. 20 seconds later, mid-play, you just heard the intermission horn go off. And you were like, wait, what? And that was Toronto calling in saying, hey, that was a goal. So they stopped the game right there, and they called it a goal. And then that was it. Yanni Gourde, great goal, assisted by Maroon and Shattenkirk. Nearly 10 minutes later, 13 minutes into the second period, Braden Point has his second of the night. An incredible pass shot from Hedman, also assisted by Kucherov, but Hedman takes a slap shot, soft slap shot, because it's supposed to look like a shot. But it was actually aimed for Point to tip in front of the net, reaches stick, Point read it all the way, just tips it in. Varlamov had no chance on it. Oh yeah, that's another thing. They pulled their goalie. I forgot to say that in the first period. They pulled their goalie after the third Lightning goal. So 2 more in this period, 0 more for the New York Islanders. Vasilevsky was called for a tripping penalty, and this one was legit. Second legit penalty against the Lightning tonight, other than the Sergachev tripping call. But, you know, that's 3 penalties against the Lightning that could have easily been let go without any complaints from either side. I'm just saying it's fucking ridiculous how these refs are just getting involved. They have to be a part of the game. They have to be in the spotlight. They have to speak on the microphone so their families at home watching can be like, oh, look, there's daddy fucking up a game for the other team. But you know what? Lightning are still at 5. It's pissing me off because I know that if we keep these refs for the rest of the series, I know that they're going to continue to make these shitty calls. And it's just pissing me off every time we get a bad call against us because I don't like blaming refs. This goes for every sport I watch. I don't like blaming refs for one reason, because it tends to always even out in the end between the two teams playing with the shitty refs. There are times where the refs completely fuck it up. Like, for example, Saints-Rams NFC Championship 2 years ago. I think we can all agree that, yeah, the Saints got fucked. But, you know, there's very few times where the refs actually ruin a game for a team in big moment games like the playoffs. But that's why I don't like blaming the refs, because it tends to always even out in the end. But tonight is just bad. Like, tonight there have been 3 horrid calls against the Lightning. Awful. And I'm going to say this again. I'm going to continue to say this. When you are fighting for the cup and you are in the playoffs, the midst of the playoffs, let alone the Eastern Conference Final, you should only be calling obvious penalties. Obvious penalties. That's not what these refs are doing. They're calling anything they can get their eyes on. It's insane. But yeah, Lightning have taken 5 power plays tonight when only 2 of them were real penalties. That's all I got. I'll see you at the third period. It's looking good for the Lightning. The Lightning are just outplaying New York so much. The shots are even at 17 each, but that doesn't tell the story. You gotta watch this game and you're just like, yeah, Lightning, they're stepping up. Lightning are actually losing the faceoffs 63% to 37%. That is pathetic, but we've been playing so well offensively and defensively that you can't even tell that we're losing all those faceoffs. So thank God for that. Despite what the team stats say for this game, the Lightning are outplaying the Islanders. I think everybody watching agrees with that. One thing I've noticed is how the Lightning are just dominating on offense. And what the Islanders' game plan appears to be, in my eyes at least, right, is they'll sit back and they'll play defense. And they're good at it. They're good at defense, which is why they've been successful in the playoffs so far. But what they do is they sit back and play good defense, and they wait to take advantage of offensive mistakes. That is what led to a shorthanded breakaway. Thankfully, it was stopped by the goalpost. But, you know, it led to that. There were a couple of failed clears. There was one on the New York power play when they scored. There was a failed clear by Victor Hedman right before that. It might have been McDonough. But there was a failed clear right before they scored. And that was, again, taking advantage of the offensive mistakes. So that appears to be New York's game plan in my eyes. Just sitting back, playing tight defense, and then taking advantage of offensive mistakes. So I'll see you in the next period. Go Bolts, baby! We in this thing! 5-1. Leading into the third period. See you at the end of the game. Okay, so Lightning tie a franchise record for most goals in a playoff game. 8. You thought that Boston game was fun to watch. This was something. This was something. You know, nobody, like, do you know how hard it is for a team to score that many goals in a playoff game, let alone a conference final? This is just an outstanding performance from the Lightning. God, dude, it's incredible. So, third period. Let's look at the penalties first, because there were some more penalties. Remember how I said that there were 8 penalties in the the last bit of the recap after the second period? Yeah, 6 more. 6 more in the third period. 14 penalties in this game. 14. I'm saying the refs really love that spotlight. In a playoff game, you call 14 penalties. Like, just hearing that number in my head, that's just like one of those what the fuck things. In the playoffs, there shouldn't be more than 3 or 4 penalties. There were 14 in this game. 6 in the third period. My God. Except only one of them was against the Lightning. And it was a Mikhail Sergachev roughing against Matt Martin. Martin also got a penalty against Mikhail Sergachev. So, basically what happened, Martin roughed Sergachev after the whistle, and Sergachev skated off, and then Sergachev came back, and then bumped into him, and then he got a penalty for it. Just by simply bumping into him. And I mean, I get it. Retaliation. It happens. Make it even. Whatever. 12 minutes, 30 seconds into... So, 15 minutes into the third period, New York gets a too many men penalty, and then 10 seconds later, they get a delay of game penalty. So, the Lightning have 5-on-3 for a minute and 50 seconds. And, you know, we're already up 8-2, and so can you be mad at the Lightning for, like, half-assing it, trying to, like, you know, make it like a gentleman's game? No, I'm not mad at all. They were already up. The 2-point conversion is good, right? You're up 8 goals to 2. You know, there's really no reason to go full try hard. Just don't motivate the New York bench. Just don't make them want to play harder next round by going try hard on a 5-on-3 when you're up 8-2. Anyways, goals in the third period. Nikita Kucherov from Braden Point and Kevin Shattenkirk. All right, there we go. 6-1 Lightning. Nick Leddy would score for the New York Islanders. 6-2 Tampa. And then Andre Palat responded not even a minute later by staying hot and tying a franchise record for most consecutive goals in the playoffs at 5. He ties Kucherov. So, some Lightning records tonight in this game. History being made in this game. That one was assisted by Kucherov and Point. I mean, what can you say about Braden freaking Point? Like, he is on fire. Literal fire. Like, it's insane. And then Yanni Gourde would score on a beautiful assist by Shattenkirk and Hedman on a power play 13 minutes into the third period, making the 2-point conversion. Good. 8-2 is the final and game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs. I mean, it's just one of those games where you yell loud and you get ecstatic for like the first 4 goals, right? And then 5, 6, 7, 8. You're just kind of like, well, shit, there's another one. It's a good problem to have. Like, to be honest with you, I don't even remember what some of these goals looked like because of how many were scored. And that's a good problem to have, quite frankly. I mean, I wish every game could be like this where I'm forgetting how some of the goals went. Because this is total domination for the Lightning. Lightning outshot the Islanders 34-24. I wish I knew how much it was in the third period. I can't find it. But yeah, 34-24, outshooting New York. And let me be real with you, man. To be completely honest with you, I think Greece and Varlamov are probably the weakest of the goalies that the Lightning have played so far in this playoffs, other than the Boston third string that came in game 3 for, you know, the second and third periods. I think Korpisalo and Halak were much better goalies than Varlamov and Greece. So Greece comes in, gives up 3 goals in the first 10 minutes of the game, and they pull him, and then Varlamov gives up 5 goals. So all I'm saying is I like it. I really like it. Vasilevsky played really good, saved 22 for 24 shots. This is just pure domination from the Lightning. Point with 5 points in this game alone. 5 points for Point. Is that not insane? To me, that's incredible. I don't even have much to say, dude. This is pure domination from the Lightning. I absolutely love this. Like, it's just one of those games that you you just watch and you're like, this is beautiful. And honestly, I don't even have that much more to say. I really don't. We'll see what happens. I'll be really interested to see how New York responds in the next game. I have no idea what to expect. It'd be one of those things where the Islanders want revenge and they come out and they beat us 4-2, 4-1, whatever it is. Or it could be one of those things where the Lightning continue domination and they beat them by a couple goals. I don't really know. It'll be really exciting to see how this series develops. We are 3 wins away, baby, from a trip to the Stanley Cup Finals. One last thing, I forgot to mention this. 2 years ago, we made the Eastern Conference Finals. We went down 0-2 in the first 2 games against Washington. Won 3 straight and lost 2 straight. But the point is, it's good to be up a game. Unlike last time where we went down 2 games to open up the series. So this feels a lot better. Early domination here of the Lightning. I'll see you on Wednesday, baby. This is your favorite Tampa Bay Lightning YouTuber on all of YouTube. Chiefs, Rays, Bolts. See you in the next one. Peace out.